Like a spider, a petite Chinese woman descended to the balcony of an expensive mansion. She looked like a ninja from an old movie. However, she didn't come to kill, but to steal. A few weeks ago, the woman wouldn't even have dreamt of returning to her old line of work. She used to be a pretty good thief, but during her last heist, she fell off the roof of a multi-story building. The Chinese woman lost both of her legs, an eye, and her fiendish profession. But now she wasn't only light on her feet, but she also had a number of advantages. The thief had moved to a fundamentally new level. She could outrun a car, unless of course it was a Bugatti Veyron, make inhuman jumps, and walk at incredible angles. The villain could also see through most solid objects, and all the while she remained above suspicion. On the other side of the continent, a retired major was starting a new life. He had managed to make a fortune, but he had unexpectedly lost his arms on a combat mission along with his hearing. When an incredible opportunity arose for him to get everything back, he paid the designated price without haggling. The major went as far away as he could and severed all of his old ties, because he would have hardly been able to explain to his friends where he'd gotten his new arms from. The man's hearing also came back, so to speak, new and improved. Now he could hear things a kilometer away. The former soldier used his new superhuman abilities successfully. He won MMA fights, eavesdropped on other people's secrets, and sold information. He was burning through his new life with the confidence that everything could be repaired, including himself. These two didn't know that they owed their new superpowers to 11-year-old Aaron Howell. About 2 years earlier, he had lost his left leg, arm, and eye in a car accident. A few months after the accident, his uncle sent him a gift, a set of prosthetics. These were the first SCP-2806 prototypes, created by a group of interest known as Anderson Robotics. Of course, the development of anomalous prosthetics didn't stop at their desire to help a child. The guys from Anderson Robotics, together with Marshall, Carter, and Dark, put the novelty on the assembly line. The number SCP-2806 encompasses a group of anomalous prosthetics that belong to the safe class. The Foundation currently has 7 arms, 3 legs, 3 pairs of eyes, and 2 pairs of ears in its possession. The mechanisms are created using aluminum, polycarbonate, PMMA, and an anomalous aramid fabric. The latter is identical to the skin of another Anderson Robotics creation, PSHUD number 31, otherwise known as SCP-1360-1. It only takes a few minutes for the prosthetics to attach themselves to the site of the missing limbs, ears, or eyes. They won't integrate into a human body that has a full set of limbs and organs, so you can't attach a third hand to yourself, and you probably wouldn't want to anyway. To activate the object, you need to give it a voice command by saying the word integrate. After that, superfine wires made of a chromium cobalt alloy emerge from the prosthetic. Then they enter the host's body, installing the mechanism and connecting to their nervous system. The process is painful but quick. After the integration is completed, the object begins to function exactly like any other limb. A prosthetic eye adjusts the color of its iris, and the aramid fabric, under the influence of abnormal chemical processes, becomes overgrown with real skin. It takes about a month for this new skin to fully cultivate. Over time, all instances of SCP-2806 experience malfunctions. At first, they seem minor, but very quickly turn the host's life into a living hell. The robo-arm uses either too much or too little force, crushing or dropping things. The fingers move at random or repeat the desired movement several times. Similarly, the prosthetic leg distorts the impulses sent by the person's brain. It may not use the right amount of force, or it may move slower or faster than the other leg. The prosthetic eyes warp images by zooming in or out, or by changing which colors the host can see. The artificial eyes can move at random or even stop functioning altogether. The anomalous ears arbitrarily amplify or muffle sounds and transmit white noise at a volume of 50 decibels. In addition to this, the prosthetics can heat up to 50 degrees Celsius and hold this temperature for a long time. SCP-2806's aramid covering starts to replace sections of living human skin. Unlike Anderson Robotics' autonomous systems, SCP-2806 doesn't have remote control capability, or rather, it's impossible, since the object functions at the expense of its host's energy and nervous system. This is why these anomalous prosthetics can only be removed surgically. Due to the prosthetic's connection with the host's peripheral nervous system, the person may suffer permanent injury during the operation. The Anderson Robotics prosthetics being contained by the Foundation are placed in high-security electronics containers in Site-64. Experiments with instances of SCP-2806 must be authorized by Site Command and approved by the Ethics Committee. At the end of each experiment, the prosthetics are cleaned of any biological material, disinfected, and returned to their containers after inspection. All civilians with an instance of SCP-2806 are apprehended, and the instance is then surgically removed. A normal prosthetic is installed in place of the anomalous one, and the person is then treated with amnestics. The first SCP-2806 was seized in 2015 during a raid on the offices of Anderson Robotics in Oregon. As is typical for any GOI case, this was handled by MTF Gamma-13, also known as Asimov's Lawbringers. In addition to instances of the object, they found records and documents related to the project. It turned out that the project's development was personally handled by the COO of Anderson Robotics, Albert Phineas Frostman. The prototype was created for an 11-year-old boy named Aaron, who had lost an arm, leg, and eye in a car accident. But the child's consciousness rejected the technology and things went haywire. Nevertheless, company management saw great prospects for the new development. They gave Frostman 9 months to establish mass production of SCP-2806. The series was named Gear Falcon. Then time ran out, and the technology wasn't ready. However, they had already received pre-orders for it. Then, Executive Officer Isaac Dillard and Phineas had a harsh conversation. It was recorded by cameras installed in the workshop and later discovered by Foundation agents. The developer tried to explain to the businessman that the technology had serious flaws, and that it was dangerous for humans to use. He had run into problems integrating the mechanism into the human body. This caused SCP-2806 to glitch, which would devastate users' lives. What if some rich heiress accidentally crushed her child's head with her prosthetic? Phineas was a cyborg himself and understood how dangerous this was. But Dillard was a businessman, and he wasn't interested in excuses. He gave the developer another 5 months and went off to resolve customer issues. After that, the COO turned to Vincent Anderson with a personal request to curtail the project. Otherwise, he said he would stop working on the series. In addition to the gear, just want realistic prosthetics anymore. They demanded eyes with X-ray vision, ears that could hear through walls, super strength, and all kinds of superpowers. Anderson refused to shut down the project, and Phineas washed his hands of it. The series was put into production by Frostman's colleagues. This is evidenced by a number of documents found in the intranet of the other GOI involved in the project, Marshall, Carter, and Dark. MTF Kappa 10 is conducting a reconnaissance mission to find all of the prosthetics. The MTF is known by the name Skynet. What makes the group unique is that all of its members have artificial intelligence. The operatives got into the GOI's network and found a letter sent to a client on Anderson's behalf. It was about a shipment of the Gear Falcon prosthetic series. A certain Mr. Richmond had ordered several sets, with the additional functions I Spy and Herculean included. The Skynet agents continued to dig through the GOI's databases. As a result, they discovered 247 letters addressed to clients who had received instances of SCP-2806. At the time of the object file's last update, 50 such clients had been found. All of the SCP-2806 units provided to them turned out to be fully functional, without any malfunctions or integration side effects. Some of the mechanisms endowed their hosts with superpowers. This indicates the successful completion of the project after Albert Frostman had left. The groups of interest probably continue to apply prosthetics to their clients. All of this suggests that it's only a matter of time before squads of super powerful cyborgs are created. A long time ago, Anderson Robotics had begun mass production of androids that were indistinguishable from humans. But they were just machines with a little bit of biotechnology and some anomalous properties. The main difference between these instances and the Gear Falcon series is that the developer has remote access to each instance, or they can at least embed systems that allow them to gain control over the robot. SCP-2806 is fully connected to the human nervous system and obeys its impulses, so externally controlling it is out of the question. The prosthetic can't be deactivated, and it's extremely difficult to remove it surgically. The story of SCP-2806 once again demonstrates the peculiarity of human nature. It all started with good intentions to help people, and it turned out like these things always do. But as Vincent Anderson himself wrote, they abandoned any moral foundations when they started selling deadly robots and automatic turrets. Those who know about SCP-2806 sometimes refer to the object with the phrase, "We have the technology." So, what would you do if the fate of this technology was in your hands? And if anyone knows why the object is called this, comment down below.